Good morning, Don't Unfriend Me Nation. We've all heard the calls to defund the police, but what if we take that a step further and solve the real problem? Defund the American universities. I'll tell you all about it in about 15 seconds.
Do you want the truth? Are you tired of being so confused? You feel like you're more f***ed up than the lies on the evening news? Well, just step right in. We can talk about it all as friends. And if you want, we can hug and kiss and make up for the party ends.
That's the band Stillpoint, Stiilpoint. This is Matt Spear from thedumbnews.com. It's good to have you, where you can get your daily news updates that are accurate, honest, and that don't suck. We've added our daily news to the podcast. We hope you enjoy it. You can watch us live at 7 p.m. as well. Read more at thedumbnews.com. Wednesday, May 8th, 2024. Defund the universities. Bribery and corruption run rampant. Across America, in the landscape of higher education, the influence of foreign donations and domestic corruption has cast a long shadow over the esteemed values of academic integrity and equitable access. The influx of billions from countries such as Qatar and Saudi Arabia have, while potentially beneficial in terms of financial support, raised significant ethical concerns about the independence and ethos of these institutions. At the heart of this issue is the sheer magnitude of the donations received. For instance, Georgetown and Texas A&M have both established campuses in Qatar, part of Doha's Education City, which houses satellite campuses of several American and European universities, very similar to the United States. But these ventures are largely funded by the Qatar Foundation, which covers everything from construction costs to operational expenses. While such generosity is lauded for expanding educational opportunities globally, it also poses a risk of undue influence on academic content and university policies. Similarly, significant gifts have flowed from Saudi Arabia into various United States universities. These funds often support academic programs in areas of strategic interest to the donors, such as Islamic studies and engineering. While fostering educational and cultural exchange is a laudable goal, the selective nature of these gifts can skew research priorities and curricular focus, potentially at odds with the broader educational mission. The implications of these foreign donations intersect troublingly with issues of domestic corruption within the university admissions process. The 2019 college admissions scandal, colloquially known as Operation Varsity Blues, shed light on a system rife with inequality and deceit. High-profile cases like that of actress Lori Loughlin, who was found guilty of bribing university officials to secure her daughter's admissions to the University of Southern California, exemplify how wealth and influence can distort the admissions process. This scandal highlighted not only illegal activities, but also legal yet ethically dubious practices such as legacy admissions and donations from wealthy parents aimed at enhancing their children's chances of acceptance. These practices contribute to a perception that higher education institutions prioritize financial gain over merit and what they call equality. Moreover, the very structure of university funding and governance is often implicated in these issues. For example, university boards typically include or are influenced by major donors, some of whom may represent foreign interests or have significant business stakes that could conflict with the academic mission. This governance and the model can lead to decisions that favor financial considerations over academic standards and student welfare altogether. Additionally, the reliance on tuition fees, particularly from international students who often pay higher rates, that creates a dependency that can compromise the academic rigor and independence of universities. This financial model pressures institutions to maintain or increase international enrollments, sometimes at the cost of educational quality and accessibility for domestic students. Beyond the gates of these institutions, the broader societal impact is profound. The erosion of trust in the fairness and integrity of higher education undermines the democratic ideals of equal opportunity and meritocracy. It fosters cynicism and disenfranchisement among potential students and the general public, who may see higher education as a corrupt system, accessible only to the wealthy and well-connected. In response to these multifaceted challenges, a new framework for university funding and governance is urgently needed. This framework should prioritize transparency in the origins and uses of donations, stringent conflict of interest policies, and a recommendment to merit-based admissions and academic independence. Measures could include public disclosure of large donations, restrictions on donor influence over academic matters, and an overhaul of admissions practices to eliminate biases favoring wealth and connections. Moreover, to restore public trust and align universities with their educational mission, it may be necessary to explore alternative funding models that reduce dependence on tuition and large donations. Options could include increased government funding tied to a stringent ethical standard or endowment income managed with clear, publicly audited ethical guidelines. As these institutions stand at a crossroads, the choices made today will shape the future of higher education in America and beyond. Only through a concerted effort to realign university practices with the principles of equity, transparency, and academic freedom can we ensure that these bastions of learning fulfill their noble purpose as engines of knowledge and opportunity, rather than instruments of exclusion and vehicles for external agendas. However, the challenges do not end with financial corruption or admission scandals alone. Another significant concern within American universities is the rise of divisive ideologies, particularly under the banners of diversity, equity, and inclusion, DEI, and these certain radical elements within the liberal arts. These programs, while initially intended to promote a more inclusive and diverse academic environment, have at times morphed into platforms for promoting specific political ideologies, which can be seen as a form of indoctrination. The impact of these ideologies is profound and far-reaching. For instance, at Evergreen State College in Washington, the 2017 controversy around a day of absence where white students and faculty were encouraged to leave campus highlighted how DEI initiatives could escalate into exclusionary practices, which polarize and radicalize students. The event sparked significant backlash and was seen as an example of reverse discrimination, leading to questions about the true inclusivity of such DEI policies. Similarly, at many universities, courses and training sessions that focus exclusively on critical race theory or similar methodologies can lead to a one-sided portrayal of complex issues, contributing to a campus culture where alternative viewpoints are not just discouraged but often vilified. This approach not only stifles academic freedom but also divides the student body, creating an atmosphere of suspicion and intolerance. Moreover, the incorporation of what some critics call neo-Marxists, these perspectives in multiple disciplines from sociology to literature paints capitalism and traditional Western values in a uniformly negative light. Such teachings can radicalize students against perceived injustices, leading them to adopt extreme positions without a balanced understanding of the issues at hand. The ramifications of such indoctrination are not confined to campuses, but spill over into everyday society, where graduates imbued with radical beliefs may struggle to engage constructively in a pluralistic society. They may also perpetuate these ideologies in their professional fields, influencing everything from media and education to politics and law, potentially leading to a more fragmented and polarized public discourse. Addressing these concerns requires a balanced approach to education that promotes diversity of thought and a true spirit of inquiry. Universities must ensure that their curriculum fosters critical thinking and respectful dialogue across different perspectives, rather than promoting a singular ideological framework. This can be achieved by diversifying faculty, developing curricula that present multiple viewpoints, and creating spaces for open dialogue that encourage students to challenge and refine their beliefs in light of different arguments. The challenges facing American universities today are manifold, involving complex layers of influence, both foreign and domestic, as well as internal pressures that compromise their educational missions. To navigate these troubled waters, universities must recommit to their core principles of academic excellence, ethical integrity, and true inclusivity. Only by doing so can they continue to serve as pillars of learning and advancement in an increasingly complex and divided world. Amidst these institutional trials, a surprising parallel emerges from within the fervent calls from certain leftist factions advocating for the defunding of law enforcement across the United States. This radical sentiment, echoed loudly within university walls, stems largely from academic environments that some argue indoctrinate rather than educate, as universities increasingly sway towards ideological extremities, promoting doctrines that sow division and discontent. The notion arises, if radical voices demand the defunding of law and order, perhaps it's time to consider a similar approach to higher education itself, to defund, rethink, and rebuild these institutions in a manner that aligns more faithfully with their foundational mission of fostering genuine intellectual growth and societal contribution. This is Matt Spear from The Dumb News, and you can read and listen to more articles at thedumbnews.com. You can also now get these articles ad-free by joining The Dumb Club at thedumbclub.com. Make sure to join us weeknights at 7 p.m. Eastern for The Dumb Show on Spreely TV at Spreely.tv. Thanks for listening, reading, and watching. We'll see you tonight at 7 p.m. God bless.
Adjusting transmitter output.
This is the Don't Unfriend Me Show with your hosts, Matt, Leroy, Amy, Olivia, and Mike. Geopolitics, military analysis, and election coverage. Coming to you live on the Spreely.tv network and all major social media channels at The Dumb Show. Honest, direct, unfiltered. We can agree, we can disagree. Just don't unfriend me.